Back again with another episode on Dope, and today I have Sharia. How you doing today, Sharia?
Hey, what's up?
And now, Sharia, you are of a strict? Is it strict? I want to say strict religion, or what would you say that is? Like you're a true believer?
Yeah, I'm a true believer.
True believer. Okay, and I believe in here on this earth. It is what it is. What you see is what you get, and what you do is what you'll get. I'm not big on the God thing. I believe there is some type of higher power, but I don't believe it's like what people say. I don't believe it's his name is what people think it is. Like, cause y'all don't know him. That's my belief or whatever. But my real question is, and why I have you here today is, how do you maintain this in a relationship with someone of a different belief, culture, or even race?
It's funny you ask that because I battled with that for a long time. But actually, the Bible helped me do that. The Bible actually helped me.
So when you say the Bible help you, like, is it like certain passages, or do you like meditate to it?
I guess meditating is reading, right? And then just letting the words simmer, I guess. So it's both. There's certain passages like the Bible teaches me that God gives us free will. So if he gives me free will to think the way I want to think and believe in him, then he gives you free will to not believe in him.
So with that being said about say that line again, the Bible teaches me the free will part. Say that one again.
The Bible teaches me that God gives everyone free will to either choose life or death, or to choose him or to not choose him. So if I decide to choose him, that is my choice. He won't impose. And if you decide not to choose him, or someone else decide not to believe in him, he's not going to impose.
So with that being said, like how I look at it is, I can feel it. So like people say they communicate with God and all this and that, and so whether his name is God or not, because that's in my belief, that's just what the white man put in the Bible, and when they wrote the Bible to get not only slaves to listen to him, but they wrote it for Caucasians to listen to him too. They wrote it to keep their cities and stuff organized and keep people in line, basically, right? So
I agree.
So when I hear that, choose to believe or not, I say I guess I believe, but I don't believe in what they put in front of me. So it's not like I'm not choosing him. I just don't choose. There is 1,000 relationships, 1,000 religions. I kept saying relationships. 1,000 religions, and each one of them believes strongly, like you believe, that the rest of them are false and fake. But they all have some basic correlations together. They all got something that ties, like,
yeah, they all
have something of the same, like maybe the 5 top things they all got or something like that or whatever. And so when I think of that, and they all true believers, and they will all die for what they believe in, and I sit back and I just see how everything plays out, like the world with the Holocaust, how, like, I went to Brazil and they're living so fucked up over there, and I'm just over there on vacation having fun, enjoying, seeing different places, different world, different women, different excitements and stuff like that. So while I'm out there kicking it with it, I'm just living like, yo, they live fucked up, and it's all cheap for me to do. So when I'm seeing this stuff, and I'm just like, we don't have a clue what's next. Truth be told, like, I understand, like, true believers or everybody who believes in their relationship believes what will happen next. But what people don't understand is, over in Afghanistan, they really died thinking they was gonna get 9 virgins.
10 virgins.
10 virgins. Oh, one more. I left one out.
Yeah.
They really killed themselves, killing innocent people, thinking that that's what will happen, because they were taught that we were the enemies, right? They were taught we were super enemies, and And maybe there is some corruption to what they were believing, but they're attacking the wrong people because just like they're being fooled, we're being fooled by our government.
Well, okay, so I want to touch on a couple of bases. One, I want to say, yes, the government has used the Bible to enslave us and to keep us in line. However, and I also want to say that there are 1,000 of religions, and some of them kind of blend in together, but the religion that separates from everyone else is that one, I really don't want to call myself a Christian because a lot of Christianity, like there's so many sectors of Christianity that it doesn't like literally follow the Bible. Like how can Catholicism and Jehovah Witness be Christianity, and they believe two separate things. So that's why I call myself a true believer. But like as a true believer, the thing that separates my spirituality, because religion is made by man, like you said, but relationships with the Father or Yahshua, who is the Son, or Yahweh, which I call him as his name, is that all the other religions put their salvation upon themselves. Buddhism, Muslim, many Chinese cultures or whatever, they feel like in order to obtain righteousness, they have to work towards it. And our religion states that all we have to do is believe in Yahshua. So I wanted to clarify that. And two, you were stating how like we really don't know who it is, but it's so hard to explain to someone who walk by sight that the Lord had foretold us what's going to happen next. So it's like, for like you mentioned previously, like you can feel him, which is a real thing, or you also mentioned that you seeing is believing in you, right?
Fact.
So it's like, okay, so you have to see it to believe it. But like, I didn't physically have to see Christ, and he divided time. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was the only man ever to divide time in this world.
What do you mean?
There's before Christ, there's the Christ era, and there's after death. In the world, like there's before
yeah,
Christ
but
era.
that goes. But like my whole argument to that would just be, like I said, I think man wrote that. So, like, you're using... That's why, like, when people try to use Bible passages or any type of religion book against me, my whole thing is, well, man wrote that. So, how do you expect me to just believe that? Now, I have found $100 on the ground, and it felt like it was for me. And then I have been broke with nothing in my pocket and found 50, and I felt like, dang, this is somebody's gonna hurt them, and I went and returned it at a store. So I felt, but those are stuff like I felt guilty even though I didn't even have it at the time. And then there's times where I did and didn't, and I didn't feel guilty. So that, like, I feel like that was something taking over me, saying, hey, this ain't meant for you. This was someone who really dropped it. So like, when that's what I mean when I say I like can feel good or bad. Like, I can go out here and shoot someone and not feel guilty about it. But then I can shoot someone and I'd be like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. Or just seeing someone down and like, dang, I wish we could have talked to him and got him out that situation. So that's what, like, when I say I feel like I feel guilty or not guilty, like, all right, nah, that was meant. And I don't know why which goes which way.
Okay, so I can understand that, but it's the point that I'm saying is for me to tell you, okay, so you to say we really don't know what's going to happen in the future, but there's nothing in the Bible that's been disproven. There's nothing in there that has been like that they had to take, like, obliterate out of the Bible because it hasn't been disproven. So it's like, for an instance, like The world tells you if you want to be rich, save money. But the Bible tells you if you want to be rich, then give. And if you live that life, you will know that people who are givers are more blessed than those that just are takers, right?
I mean, it varies. I know people who are givers that prosper, and I know people that are givers that it was their downfall. I know people that are takers that blew up, and I know people that are takers that don't go nowhere in life.
Okay, but I mean, like, giving out of their heart, not giving to receive something in return. They're just, not someone that's being taken advantage of and just being used and abused, but someone.
But ain't that the same thing? If they're giving and whoever's receiving is just abusing it, like, ain't they still giving out the kindness of their heart?
Yeah, so they're going to get blessed.
But I seen them not get blessed though. That's what I'm saying. I seen them like rise to their fall, fail. Like I've seen them all the way through. Like I seen it. What I'm saying is I seen it both ways. I seen it be successful and I seen it not be successful, and that's why like I used to be a strong giver. I used to literally bust ass, work and miss every social event, miss every fucking thing, and then everything that I earned while I was missing, the people that went out and caught all the events, I would bless them enough to lift them to where I'm at. So we got the same amount of money, even though they didn't miss nothing. And it ended up just being, I'm holding myself back because I'm giving them all this money and I'm not prospering in life. I'm not growing with my age standards of like I should be farther ahead in life, but I've been given everything I've been slaving for. Everything I slaved to earn, I gave away. So now I'm behind, just like the person who partied the whole time and had fun and kicked it. And so now,
yeah, so you were used and abused.
Yeah, and so now I'm like, I'm gonna do for me and mine strictly, and that's why I don't give nothing out no more.
But you are a giver still.
Naturally, yes. At heart, yes.
Yes, so I see you give all the time.
No, I don't give like that no more.
You just don't give on cue. You just don't, okay.
No, I don't give no more.
Okay.
What, you trying to say I give?
Yes.
But you can't name a time.
A lot of people ask you for things and you just give.
When?
Your payday comes every Friday and you're giving somebody something.
No, I don't.
You give away all your clothes as soon as you're done with them.
Well, that's trash though.
Is it?
Yes. Like if I don't wear them and I don't want them.
Some people will sell their shoes that in the condition that you have.
For what?
I'm just saying. That's a giver.
Well, I'm talking about because I was literally giving cash money, 1,000 at a time, hundreds at a time. Oh, I need something. Here you go. And I get tired of it. Like people were keeping up with my payday. Like people were plotting. Like,
on your payday.
Yeah, like the cash get paid. I'm. How should I ask them? Like literally, and then somebody would come tell me like, you know, they was asking me. I'm like, for real, because they did ask me. I was just about to send it. Now I ain't sending it. Now I know you plotting on me. You're plotting. Like that's terrible. But we getting off topic.
Definitely getting off topic.
So when you say that giving stuff, does that tie into ties?
Okay, so tithing is a touchy subject. Okay. Because you don't want to tithe into a church monetary value and it's not giving you anything. So let's say you go to a church every week and you get this feel good sermon, that's what I call it, when they basically be like, oh, come get saved, salvation, you feel good for 30 minutes and then the rest of your week is not prosperous, right? So it's like the soil that you are sowing in is not even good soil, but you tithe faithfully because your pastor said that's what you're supposed to do. Well, the Bible actually talks about that and say like pastors are robbing y'all and they're greedy, and that's not how you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a cheerful giver. You're supposed to be happy about giving, but you're also supposed to sow into a church or a ministry or whatever, like it's fulfilling you spiritually. It's a quid quo pro. Is that what it is? A quid quo pro relationship. You giving and you receiving something in return. So tithing, you can also tithe without money. Like you could tithe in your time. God can tell you like, okay, go give your friend $30 or something for a gas bill, and that could be something tithing because he told you to move on that.
So when I used to hear tithes, I mean, I still think this, don't get me wrong, but when I hear tithes, I think that is the biggest fucking scam. Oh, that is a scam to me. I was in a relationship once, and she was literally living check to check, and her extra money she was giving for tithes, and I couldn't believe it. I was just like, "Are you fucking stupid?" And I would say that naturally. Are you stupid? Like, look, why the fuck would you do that? And I didn't realize how offensive I was being at the time, but I was being very offensive. And so like we fought about that many a times or whatever. But like even when we got to a hill place on it, we still disagree strongly on it. But then like one day I was like by myself or something, but I was just giving to someone, and I realized like something just came over me, and I think this is like when I say I can feel like something, like when I get these thoughts and all this stuff that comes out of nowhere, because it's a day where I'm not even talking about God, I'm not talking about religion, I'm not talking about nothing. I'm just probably chilling, probably playing a game, and this thought crosses my head when someone asks me for something, and I think, dang, is this me giving tithes? Like, I'm not giving to a church, but with my relationship with the above powers, is this me paying my tithes? Every time I help someone else out, every time I go out my way and get custody of a family member's kids, or I do something for somebody else's kids, or somebody say this is my kid and we both know it ain't, and I help that kid out for that moment, is that me giving tithes? And so I was like, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's me giving tithes.
Well,
like this person might give 200 to a church, and I might give 300 or 400 throughout to someone at work wants to borrow money, a family member, a friend, somebody went to jail, I bottled them out. I might do that, and that's me giving tithes.
Okay, so this is what I would ask you. Why you feel like that's giving tithes? Because a part of tithing is submission, and it's like submitting to the Father, right? But you said it's higher power. So like when you are tithing, who are you tithing to?
My community, basically, because I'm helping people around me, people I know. Like I don't donate to nothing that has nothing to do with no one. Like I have to know something about it, because I think 9 times out of 10, I think most stuff is a scam. I think even these big cancer places that take donations, I think there's some type
huge scam.
There's scam in it. I'm not gonna say it's completely scam, but like I think because like even with the welfare office, like I know a lot of white people that Caucasian. I don't even like to say white people. Caucasian people who gets mad when they hear people sell food stamps, and I'd be like, why does that bother you? Do you understand that the government takes more than what you'll ever get back in taxes, right? So this person, even if there wasn't no welfare, they would still take taxes first off, because they try to say, "Oh, that's going to the welfare." But this person selling them, I'm gonna buy them a half price, get some of my money back for the taxes they took. They're gonna sell them regardless, and if they don't sell them, that upper notch that work in the welfare office or some government, some politician, some one of them, they're going to embezzle the fucking money. They're going to embezzle all the leftover money and funding to welfare. Like someone gets that money.
70% of the people on welfare are Caucasian anyway.
Well, that's because there's more Caucasians. That's another thing that's for another day, another topic. But like, when they be like, when we say how many times the cops kill us, and then white people be like, oh, cops kill more white people. I think that is the stupidest argument.
Yeah.
Like, you should be out here too. Like, stop killing us too. Because at the end of the day, whether it's a black or white war, at the end of the day, the police have too much power. And that's what the real problem is. And people don't, it's because they naturally see it as a white and black thing because there's more white cops and it's black people's dying at a higher rate, a percentage of a higher rate. But white people are dying more as an individual number count. White people are dying more, right? So instead of them saying, yeah, we need to retrain the police, depower some of them, defund them, all that, they're saying, oh, we died quicker. So you want to be killed by the police is what you're saying. Like, you're fine with that. That's the stupid ass argument to me. And I don't get why Caucasians don't see that. But they're too busy seeing defending. They get defensive when they think it's a race. We're not racist. Like, all right, well, let's get to the real problem. Black lives matter. All lives matter. Look, can we get to the real problem? Y'all arguing the wrong shit.
Bring my religion back in this.
Right. I be getting on topic.
Since you brought that subject, like, it's easier to understand why they feel that way because, like, the Bible actually tells us why. There was a big battle between Jacob and Esau, and Esau sold his birthright, and then he decided that he was going to war against Jacob, and God chose Jacob, and then Jacob became a slave bond. Like, went through many centuries being a slave, went through being oppressed and everything, and Esau said that they were going to hate Jacob until the end of the world. So here we are with Esau hating Jacob.
I told you to mute this phone. Where this phone at? So, brought the Bible back into it with a passage that I'm not going to believe. Like, I'm telling you, like, no matter what, there is some passage in the Bible I believe and agree with, but that's because it was human written, so it's like something that you will go through as a human. You know what I mean? So there is some stuff in there, but I just don't willy-nilly fall for it, man. And I was having this conversation with you one time, and you were speaking on how most black men just don't believe. And I was like, well, when you see what we see and you go through what we go through, you know not to believe what they put in front of us. Look at everything we learned in history class in schools.
They lied about everything.
Now, what makes you think the Bible's any different? We see the same stuff into the Bible.
It's because, for an instance, let me give a big instance. They taught us that, God said obey your slaves, right? And then people take that, but the Bible never mentioned for you to be enslaved based on your race. So just because it said obey your slaves, he never meant for a whole people to be in bondage because they were black, okay? And also, you couldn't be a slave longer than 7 years. You had to treat your slaves like they were your children. And once they leave, you give them reparations. You go into your own fold and give them reparations. So they took this small excerpt out the Bible and twisted it and convinced the whole generation, like, oh, white is right? And you're a slave, so you need to obey us. But they lied about everything in the Bible. They take stuff and they distort it. What does the devil do? He comes to lie, steal, kill, whatever. So they took the truth. They always take the truth and they distort it. So it's like, when I first start reading it and it start unveiling, I was like, oh my gosh, like in Deuteronomy it said we're going to be sold into Egypt by ships. Egypt mean bondage. What other people was like sold into slavery by ships? Like, what other people is still in the same land that they were sold into and haven't been able to go back to their country? They don't know their language. They don't know their heritage. Like, it started fitting, but they never told us that. They took a small part of the Bible. So of course, you're not going to or of course, people are not going to read into it because for centuries you've been told a part of the Bible that was a lie. So you like, why pick it up? Man wrote it. And then when you pick it up and you read it, you be like, this is our history book that's been hidden from us forever. It's been in plain sight. That's what the enemy do. He put the truth in plain sight. And then he tells you something different. He distorted.
So I believe that everything's distorted, but I also believe the Bible's the same way. Like, you're trying to say that one is and the other ain't, and I'm saying that both are. And I still believe there is a higher power out there. I'm just saying that I don't believe this because man wrote it. And there's one thing that I know about every man. They have not physically talked to him to where they can write that and tell these stories about him.
Moses spoke with him. But you wouldn't know that because seeing is believing.
Exactly.
Right.
And
so you can't.
And I mean, the whole Noah's Ark and all that stuff can be debunked. That's crazy as hell to even think that Adam and Eve was the first two. That would mean everybody's literally of the same blood, which means sister and brother had to fornicate in order to have another kid and keep going. That happens to this day. Don't get me wrong. But also then when the world, all right, it's time to flood the world, and we're just gonna take Noah and his wife. So now we're all from Noah. Man, come on, man.
Well, you gotta understand though. You gotta understand. So
I will believe in unicorns before I believe in that.
The first person that sinned was the son of Adam. Well, after
I thought it was Eve.
After Adam and Eve, once they were sent out of the garden, was the son of Adam, and I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but it's on the tip of my tongue. But he ended up sinning and going into nomad. Not Abel, but Cain. Cain was the first one. Remember, God.
Don't ask me to remember because I ain't reading that stuff.
So it's a common story where
I'll read Harry
he
Potter
went out
first.
and killed his brother, and the blood called out from the ground. And he said, "Where's your brother?" He said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" So he went out there and killed his brother because he was jealous because his brother gave God his first fruits, which is tithing, and he didn't give him the righteous. He didn't give Yahweh the first fruit. So he went out and created his own. He went in the way of You'll find that all through the Bible, the Lord tell us don't be like Cain, because Cain wanted to go his own way. But
now, what's wrong with Cain going his own way? Now, hold on. Now, if Cain is like, I want to go out here and explore the world and kick it, what's wrong with me going my own way?
Cain was a murderer. He killed his brother because of jealousy.
See,
he killed his brother because of jealousy.
No, that's something different. That's not what I'm talking about. But this is another thing I don't fall into is like these whole theory of how heaven is and how hell is, right? So hell is all this hot place. Heaven is this place. It is so crazy that everybody wants to go to heaven, but heaven is made out to be what everybody would fucking hate to be under constantly. Like these strict rules, boring. Like, and we gotta be polite. Like, I wouldn't be polite when I want to be polite. If I want somebody away from me, I want to say, hey man, go fuck off. Like, go play. I do that with my kids. Like, they come, they bother me. Hey, go fuck off. Go like, get away from me. Go play somewhere else. Or if I want to play, I'm gonna play. You know what I mean? But why the hell would I want to be in this strict place? Like you heard Biggie? You heard Biggie? You feel me? I want to put on some hoodies and chill, bro. Get my dick licked all day type shit, you know? Like, if that's in hell, bro, I might want to kick it in hell. Can I go visit? Can I come back? I'll come visit y'all.
I mean, but Yah gives you the free will to choose, right? So he tells you that if you don't want to choose the sacrifice that he gave already for you just by believing in him, then I'm going to give you the free will to go to hell. People are going to go to hell with their sins paid for.
But what I'm saying is, like, why do people subscribe to this, I want to get in heaven, and then the whole theme, the whole sound of heaven is something that they never been into. Like they got the choice to do it right now, and they don't want to do it. Like everybody wants to get a drug and take them to that next level high or whatever, but none of that's in heaven, bro.
Because sin feels good to your flesh. Your flesh is not in heaven.
So you saying once we're out of the flesh, we're gonna want to be in heaven? I mean that could be true. That actually sounds more true because it's like once I'm not in my like my body, sex feels good. But if I don't have a body, then it's like all right, I don't want a bunch of hoes, right? Because you don't need them. You want somebody that actually entertains your mind and enlightens you and educates you. Well, me personally, that can educate you and make you think. I guess that would be true, but I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's like right now you went with your flesh desire. So, like you said, okay, but once your flesh is dead, what do you have left? For someone that only believes in what they see, then you probably think that once the flesh is gone, there's no afterlife.
But I do believe it's not a belief, it's just how I see it. It's like there's something after this, but I don't have a word for it.
You don't know what it is.
I'll just wait and see. Like it's gonna happen. There's not one person who's gonna avoid it. And there's no human that will ever be able to invent it. If they ever invent something where you can live forever, guess what? He's probably a devil.
Right.
Like
right.
literally, like
I agree with that.
Because everybody's gonna have to go through this. It's just like puberty. Like everyone's gonna go through it. So I mean, it's gonna happen. So I'm just like, I'll wait and see. And it's not like a bad thing. And I'm not out here intentionally doing bad. Like I try to do what's right. I try to be positive. Even now, like I have opportunities to do other type podcasts where it would be more entertaining, more ways to sell views. Like, but I chose to like do something where we can have healthy conversations. Where I hope if somebody listens, it'll change something they were about to do tomorrow that could ruin their life. Like death, lives. Yeah, impact life in a good way. Like, cause like I mean, like we done talked about the King Von death and how we should do better. We done talked about the Gucci Mane beef and how they resolved that. Like, what if one of my partners that's out here still in the streets beefing heard that and was like, man, I'm about to drop that with dude out south or something. And now no one else dies around him or him, and no one else dies around the enemy or them. You know, I hope it does, and I don't even need to hear about it. But I hope it just one person. If it does just one person, I'm satisfied with this whole podcast. You know, like I would love to get the views and the money in the future and all that stuff if it comes, but I'm just satisfied with helping the community because I see so much wrong in our community. And like when you hear these lefties or righties, whatever they be calling them, that when there's like Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter, when you hear that and then you hear like a black person like, well, if black people would stop doing this and they're not taking into account that they were put in a situation to where they only could do this or that.
Right.
I see that, but I also see where it's easier to do the wrong thing, but there was a slim success rate if he did the right thing.
Right.
And so he's like, well, I'm not gonna do the right thing because fuck that. Like, why would I go work at McDonald's for $10 an hour and then he's like, and I could sell this dope and I can make $100 in less than 15 minutes. And I'm like, all right, I get that. I mean, I made the tougher sacrifice and I gave up selling drugs young, but I get it. I get both sides. And then I also get, like, even when you are working at McDonald's and they're like, oh, make it $15 an hour. And I'm like, I say no to that, for the record. That's a topic for another day. We can talk politics another day with some other people that's more educated about it so I can actually learn and speak how I see it. But the way I see it is that $15 an hour is stupid. They raise everything else around you. But I lost my place because y'all know I get off topic. Y'all know me. They know me. But back to the religion thing. So like I believe there is something after this. I don't know what. I'll wait to death. I'm not rushing death. I used to be. I don't give a fuck. Kill me today. Take me today. I actually I'm scared to kill myself, but I actually was at a point in life where I really wanted to go, but so I was just doing like wild stuff while I was drinking, and I did not care to survive, and I was in a real dark space. It was the year my son had died, and then I was laying there thinking I was gonna die. And I was really in a dark place. I used to I got so drunk on uh is it Ohio Avenue or Champion? It was Ohio or Champion.
East side or south?
South side. Ohio on free at Freebus at the light. Whichever one is heading towards north. I'm heading north. And I'm at that light leaving my cousin's house. And I'm so fucking wasted. I fall asleep. And now look, I done did all this drinking before the club even started, and my homeboy, Forte, 40, he hit me like, yo, I'm gonna just ride with you to the club. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to leave my cousins. And I get slammed at my cousins. And I leave out like 11:30 midnight. Bro, I woke up 10 o'clock the next day, and I fell asleep at the red light. My car just rolled through the light and basically hit the curve. And luckily, wasn't no car there. And the curb basically stopped my car, but my tail end was in the back. I got all the windows rolled down in the winter. This how fucked up I am. I got all the windows rolled down, and I got my coat off because I'm in the car with the heat on. I got my coat off on the seat, but I had the heat on because it was winter. So in my sleep, I rolled the windows down because I was hot, and then I got cold in my sleep, and I put my arms in my sleeve. Not one time did I roll the windows up or put my coat on. But I woke up the next day, I was so confused on where the hell I was at. I was what the fuck? But I was in a dark, dark place, man. And I don't talk to no one about that stuff then. I'm real healthy now. I stayed by myself, have my own crib and all that. So, like, no one knew my dark spot because I don't talk to no one at work and I wasn't telling nobody in my personal life. So I was in a real bad place, and there wasn't nobody who could really save me. I just had to come out of myself or die. Like literally, that was it.
So how did you come out of yourself? Was it the Lord talking to you?
I think just the old saying, "In time, all things heal." I think it just was like one of those. Like,
I mean, because that's like a devastating thing to get through.
But I really think it was like, in time, all things heal, because there wasn't one thing that happened to where I was just woke up like, oh shit, I need to stop doing this. It wasn't none of that. Like, everybody swore I had a drinking problem, but I literally didn't even have a drinking problem. I still feel like that. Hell, to this day, I stopped on my own, and there wasn't like, I need to stop. It was just like, I don't even feel like drinking.
And I remember that.
And I literally haven't had a drink. I had probably drunk about 4 times this year. Like, and a lot of times I social drink, but once I start drinking, I social even more. Once I social even more, I drink even more. And then I'm so giving, I'm buying everybody's drinks now. And so, like, I'll be at the bar. I done racked up a $600 bill just on shots. I'm buying this table of girls' drinks, these chick drinks. They all surrounding me. I'm talking to them. This dude, he cool. I don't even know him, but we chatting it up. I'm buying his drinks. Next thing you know, I'm buying 10 people drinks, and we all just talking shit.
Yeah, I ain't never been that drunk.
I don't even gotta be that drunk.
I've never been that giving.
I just be cool. Like, I be cool, and you know, I want to see everybody eat naturally. But I come to realize that a lot of people only want to eat what you gonna give them instead of making a way for them to eat. A lot of them want you to handle food, and that's what like a lot of Trump supporters do. Well, that's what they. That's not what they do. That's what they're mad about, because they're like, why do y'all want the government to give y'all something? And a lot of it, because like when y'all hear them say that, y'all automatically think they talking about food stuff and stuff like that. No, they're talking about like, y'all want them to give y'all rules and laws, like you can't have more than 8 people over Thanksgiving. They're like, what? Like, no, you're not gonna take my American freedom values away. What is it? They're called conservatives, right?
Yeah.
That's what, like, they're not really Trump supporters. They're more conservatives, and Trump is the guy running the conservatives. So they're like, well, we got to follow Trump. Just like right now, like, think about Joe Biden. We all say he is terrible, but we need him over Trump because Trump is worse, right?
I disagree, but yeah.
I do too, but that's a topic for another day. But they're like, we got to go for Joe. And so basically that's what they're doing. They feel like we got to go for Trump because he represents our values more. Not because he's racist, not because he's homophobic or any of those crazy things that everybody say he is, or whether he is or isn't. I'm not even arguing that right now. And that's how I see things. I just came to a brain fart, but fuck y'all know me. But that's how I see things. And so, like, we done got into the ties. Now, with your religion, how do you maintain that in your relationship?
Okay, so I came across a scripture one day that was like, dang, I wish I could find this scripture. It was crazy because my cousin told me about it. I want to say it's in the Old Testament, and it was like, if you are with an unbeliever and they find it well to be with you, you are not to push them away. But if you are with an unbeliever and they leave, then you let them go. You're not bound to anything. And I sat on that and I meditated on that for a minute, and because for a long time I couldn't understand, like, how am I to be in a relationship with someone who I feel is not a believer, and how do I submit to this man to allow him to lead me when he's not rooted in Christ? That was my big Waterloo. Like, I don't know how to do that. So then when my cousin showed me that scripture, it was just like, it was like a light bulb went in my head. Like, oh, I understand it, because I know plenty of people heard the saying that, you know, your spouse or whatever is saved through you. Like, sometimes my mom always told me, like, maybe he's not going to maybe it's not you that's going to come across and enlighten him. Okay? You just need to be with him, but you don't need to impose on him. I didn't understand that because I'm like, my religion is my passion. If I could do anything in the world, it would be able to talk about my belief, right? That's my passion. So I'm like, as deep as it is for me, it's dismissive for him. So how can I be with somebody and then submit to them and allow them to lead me where I don't feel like they're walking in God? And when I seen that scripture, it was just like, okay, so it's not up to me to change him, because nobody changed me. It was the Lord that changed me, right?
Right.
So if he finds it well to dwell with me regardless of him, I didn't understand if he seen that, you know, that was my passion. I didn't understand that he knew that. So I'm like, regardless if he wanted to be with me because of that, like, he sees the light in me and I don't have to explain it to him. And then the Lord just told me one day, like, if I don't impose on your free will, why would you impose on his? And I just understood that, like, you know, when God talks to you, it just clicked, like, okay, so who am I to tell him who to believe or whatever? If he wants to believe that way, if God allows you to believe whichever way you want to believe, then who am I to say no? Now, I can tell you what I think my truth is, but I had to stop getting offensive, because another scripture came is, blessed are those who don't take offense. And I was like, what? So my thing is, I'm going to still walk in my truth. And then now I'm at a point now where I can have a conversation and be like, okay, I see your point of view. Like, it was him that told me, like, you know, tithing is horrible. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, it's not. And then God showed me a scripture like, yeah, your preachers are robbing you. And I had to come back and, like, I am very prideful. I would say that's another. So
that shit just hit full circle for you.
Yes, I had to come back and was like, Listen, you were right. Like, that hurted to say that, though. But I had to say it because, Lord told me to tell him that, too. It's certain things that he showed me, that he told me, that he don't even know was scriptural because he don't believe in word. So it's certain things that he told me, and it came back, and I didn't see it, and then I read it, and then I was like, oh, my gosh, he was right like that.
So he is just...
So I was able to see him as a leader then.
But he's just living in putting common sense where common sense is, where it needs to be, and it's just registering because it's popping up in your Bibles. Like, oh, wait a minute, this is basically what he was saying, but he had it in his terms because he is him. He is himself, so it's in his words. But it was just, you was finding these passages in the Bible, and he's never read it.
Yeah, and I feel like the Lord was talking to him too.
Yeah.
But when the Lord talks to him, he eats on it. Like, he meditates on it for a minute, like, and then come back and say, I was riding down the street and I just heard something like pull over, and I'm like, yeah, that's God. Like, I be thinking in my head, like, yeah, that's God, but I don't say nothing because he has his own relationship, like,
and that's something I truly believe with each individual, and with all hurt that comes with just being on this earth, is I think everybody has their own relationship, and everybody receives information different. So, like, you can't sit me down and teach me nothing, right?
Okay.
Like throughout school, I cheated throughout school and graduated, right, on honor roll. But like, I literally cheated throughout it. Like, I can't. And when I actually tried to pay attention, I went to sleep.
Okay, so you got to break that down for me. How did you cheat? Like, did you look over other people's work or something like that?
A lot of listen. I went to Gehenna, and so when I went to Gehenna, it was real tough.
Mm-hmm.
But only thing I was extra good in was math. Gym is like basically how I learn physically. That's what I was getting to when I say you can't sit me down and teach me nothing. But if you put me in the field and say, give me an idea of how to do something, like this is how you garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you lecture it to me, I'll pick up a little bit, and once I start doing it in trial and failure, I will learn. But the way I got through school was health scared me, so I paid attention in that, and I actually got through there. Gym was physical, so I can get through there easily. I was athletic. Math was super easy. I could do that. Reading and writing was the toughest thing, and I could never figure it out. Even in high school, I couldn't read and write. Even in high school, I could not read. I cannot write. I couldn't spell. Nothing. What ended up teaching me was right after high school, just had to do with stuff in life. I could just read it. It just was clicking. I can't sound words out to this day. I was never taught that. I don't know how to sound a damn word out. I can read.
Phonics was off, huh?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't do none of that shit. But I can read. And spelling is still tough for me. Like, don't give me nothing extra crazy. I won't be able to do it. Like, my daughter spelled something fucking crazy the other day, and I was like, I would never know that. I would never fucking... And she was like, well, I just sounded it out. I'm like, when the fuck did you hear this I in this word? Like, and they just know it. Like, but that's something that's not me. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not ashamed of it, whatever. That's just who I am. So, like, I believe that everybody learns different. So everybody receives different. So everybody communicates different. Just like when you hear Black Lives Matter, it means something different than what this other person will say. Because they'll say, why don't all lives matter? And it's like, well, it's not that all lives don't matter.
Right.
But you hear it and you know exactly. And then to you, you're confused, like, why the fuck do they not get that?
Yeah, because it's like, not to get off topic, it's like, we get tired having to explain the basic things. And it's like, you have to keep on reminding yourself, like, just like we were enslaved, they were trained to be superior. So,
but and also is a lot of them don't see this stuff. They don't see like what we're talking about, because what we're talking about, it happens in our community.
yeah,
it happens right there with us. Ooh, excuse me. So like, we see it constantly. They'll see it one time and be like, nah, that was just a coincidence. Like we got pulled over, it was 4 of us in the car, he just thought he had the weed, that was it. And it's like, no, he singled him out to have the weed.
Yeah.
Because we see it so much and we know. I got pulled over 4 times in one day. And each time they asked to search my car, they searched it twice. And not the second time, but the 4th time they searched it and the 2nd time they searched it. But the 4th time they searched it, I had just picked my brother up. This nigga had less than a blunt of weed on him, and he wanted to tell him, because I was tired. I'm ready to fight the cops. I was going to Columbus State at this time, and they're like, can we see what's in the trunk? I'm like, no, why? Why do you want to see what's in my trunk? I literally just got searched and got pulled over 2 other times. And they're like, we just want to search them. My brother he like, well, I got a little blood on me. Now they got probable cause. And I'm like, they didn't care about that, man. But they searched my car, and they seen that I wasn't lying. Only thing was in my trunk was school books.
No apology or nothing.
No apology or nothing. Wasting my time, and all because I was young and I had a car, and I'm putting myself through school. But I was working.
You look suspicious.
I look suspicious. You're a black man that's on his way to success. Suspicious. Crazy. That's crazy. That's what we live in, though. That's the America we live in. That's part of their profile and their training, too. So, like, that's the thing, too. Cops go in there, not all of them, but let's say 70%.
I say all of them.
Let's say,
I don't believe in good cops.
No, listen. You speak too quick, and you ain't listening to what I'm saying, though.
Okay.
Because what I'm about to say is going to get to where you saying. Cops go into the job, and I say 70% are not racist. Going in. But once they get through that training, and that training is to tell them how to find a suspect, but really the training is telling them how to manipulate the system to find a charge on a black person.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. I just watched a video of a judge pushing a cop. Right? I tried to share it, but you ain't on Facebook. So this judge, and on this street is 6 cops live on this street. This judge live here, and across the street is just some regular working Americans, and they have 4 cars. And so they parked one like in front of his house, but it's a city street, so he's legally allowed. He says, oh, they're blocking my driveway. They weren't. Starts a big fight with them on their property because he goes across the street. They say across the street. Goes across the street. Starts a big fight with him. He left before the fight happened, actually. His wife went over to start the fight. Then he went over there to break it up or whatever. Boom. Cops come. Cops trying to talk and see what happened. The wife's going on and on and on. They handcuff the wife. All of them's white.
Okay.
Handcuffs the wife. The whole time they're saying, my daughter's a cop, my nephew's a cop, blah, blah, blah. They go to handcuff the wife. He pushes the cop. He pushes the cop. He does not instantly get arrested. That's because he's white. That's because he's white, though. That's because he's Caucasian. That's not because he's a judge, because they don't know he's a judge yet. But that's because he's a Caucasian. He does not instantly get arrested. They tame her, throw her in a car. They then go talk to the people across the street. They figure out what happened. Boom, boom, boom. They attack Jog because your car parked here. Or they go back over there. Now they about to find out he a judge. They go over there and they're talking, and the cop, after getting pushed by him, here's his story. And at the end of his story, this bold, privileged motherfucker gonna go off on the cop because they're calm now, right? They're calm. Happened. Then he go, and I don't appreciate you tackling my wife and handcuffing my wife. You fucking coward. So then the other cop steps in. It was like, man, why don't you shut the fuck up? Like, what you trying to make us look bad? He went on because when he's talking to him, he's like whispering to him, and then the cop who's recording it covers his camera too, because they don't want they don't want the world to see what's going on. They giving them some type of privilege. But dude was like checking him, like, you pushed him, like, you in the fucking wrong. He gets to talking shit. They handcuff him. They call another cop, which is his nephew. They call him on the phone for him, and I guess he's high up, and he sits there. He's on the phone. He's like, now you know, if they press charges and you go to jail, this is gonna all hit the news because of your job. And he goes, well, I didn't tell him I'm a judge, and I never said nothing. They were saying I was a judge. And he's like, well, how do they know you're a judge? Like, it's like, because the neighbors were saying, well, how do the neighbors know you're a judge? Because you was out there telling them, like, I'm not going to go to jail because I'm a judge. And so what happened? He didn't get not one charge. He got released. Nothing. Privilege, right? Privilege. But the way I see it, a lot of people was going to say that's because he's white, Caucasian, whatever. But the way I see it, he didn't go to jail. He didn't get arrested for assault on a cop because he is Caucasian. But he got off on all charges because of his job, not because of his skin tone, right? That's how I see it. What I say we need to do to improve
his job and his skin color, I would say it's a combined thing. Because if it was a black judge, he probably would have been dead before they even found out he was a judge.
No, I don't know, because he just pushed him. They wouldn't have shot him over that. It was all right there contained. Had he been black judge and he had a nephew in that position, he would have still got off. That's how I see it. So what I say is, we need people in positions. We need black cops, black judges, black lawyers. We need that. Like, think about this.
I would love to have this conversation with you, because I don't believe... Okay, so the police force was formed under white supremacy. The whole system is corrupt. It's like, why would all the black officers that supposedly become officers to...
That has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now, though. Because what I'm saying is just like when you go to Foot Locker and your cousin works there, you get an employee discount. You go to Wendy's and your cousin works there. She puts an extra nugget in your bag. If we're doing this on low scales. If we have a judge that's a cousin that could just get us off, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing the race thing right now. I'm not even doing that right now. Yes, there is races out there. I'm just not touching on that right now.
Okay.
I'm not making this about race. I'm just saying, if we got people in positions, like if your daughter is a judge, you don't think her human feelings is going to interact? That's my mom. I don't care about your laws. That's my mom. You know?
I don't think she will still get the same rights as a white judge. Point blank, period. I don't think so. I mean, we see all the time where black cops who are off duty get shot and killed by other cops because they were off duty. Like, unless they're wearing their badge.
I done seen them get arrested for them, too.
And it's just like, they give more
I done seen them
privilege.
get arrested for it. I done seen them not get arrested for it. I done seen black cops kill other cops on and off duty. And I just seen them get arrested for it, and I seen them not get arrested for it. I'm just not doing the race thing today.
That's why I said we can have this conversation another day, but I just disagree with you when it comes to, it would be awesome to put them in position, but the system is correct.
What you're saying is racism exists, and I'm saying it do too. I'm just not talking about it right now.
I'm saying the system is racist.
I already said that, though.
Yeah, but you want them to join
I already said that when I said they go into the system as not racist, but the system teach them to be racist by how to. I went through all that 20 minutes ago. You're stuck on the racist thing, and that's why I say, like, that's where we get lost, because we get stuck on a racist thing. And I'm not saying there's not no racist. I'm just saying I don't let that control me or my outcome. Just things that's out of my control that I will never be able to control. And if it's racism, I just shrug it up. Like, all right, that's it. There's nothing we can do until we get in these positions. If we are the judges, if we are the police, if we are the lawyers, and a white cop do some racist shit and put me in, and I gotta go up in front of the bailiff who was black, and my lawyer is black, and my judge is black, I feel my outcome will be okay. Compared to if I gotta go up against white people who's not even gonna hear me.
Okay, I can see that point of view.
So we gotta get off this race thing, because this ain't even about race today.
It wasn't. It was about religion. I don't even know how you went that far.
You got it stuck on race.
Okay.
I was talking about the event that happened with this judge and just knowing people and how we need to educate ourselves and to put ourselves in better positions so we will be more successful. Even when we have downfalls, we won't be as pushed back farther with them.
And this has been dope, y'all. As y'all can see, we get heated on that race topic. We go back and forth all the time, and we'll actually touch more on that. We're definitely gonna have to do another podcast on that one. But I love you, black folks. Stay positive and stay successful.
When I die, fuck it, I wanna go to hell. Cause I'm a piece of shit, it ain't hard to fucking tell. It don't make sense going to heaven with the goodies dressed in white. I like black Timbs and black hoodies. God'll probably have me on some real strict shit. No sleeping all day, no getting my dick licked.